Story number 3, The Comb of Love. One day, a wife with long, flowing hair asked her husband to buy her a new comb, so she could keep her hair neat and tidy. The husband, apologetic, refused. He explained that he didn't even have enough money to fix his broken wristwatch. His wife didn't argue or say anything more. The next day, the husband went to work. But on his way, he stopped by a watch repair shop. With a heavy heart, he sold his precious watch for a fraction of its worth, using the money to buy the comb his wife wanted. That evening, he sat eagerly at home, waiting for his wife to return. With the comb in his hand, his heart full of anticipation. However, when she arrived, he was taken aback. Instead of her usual long hair, his wife appeared with a short haircut. In a rush of realization, he understood. She had sold her hair to buy him a new strap for his wristwatch. Tears streamed down their faces. Not because their sacrifices had been in vain, but because of the deep, unwavering love they shared for each other. The comb and the watch were just symbols. But their love, selflessness, and the bond they shared were the true treasures. The story of The Comb of Love is not just a touching tale about love and sacrifice, it also contains many profound lessons about Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us how to face life's challenges with calmness, reason, and the acceptance of things beyond our control. Through the story of the wife and husband in The Comb of Love, we can draw several lessons about love, sacrifice, and the noble values that Stoicism seeks to impart. Here are 5 meaningful life lessons from this story, applied through the lens of Stoic philosophy. 1. Accepting sacrifice without expecting reward. One of the core principles of Stoicism is performing the right actions without expecting rewards. In the story, the wife doesn't ask her husband to buy her a new comb. However, when she realizes that it's an impossible gift to receive from him, she chooses to sacrifice her long, beautiful hair in exchange for the comb. Her action was not driven by a desire for gratitude or praise but solely out of her deep love and a wish to bring joy to her beloved husband. Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, once said, "Don't seek the reward for your actions. Find contentment in the action itself." In the story, both characters act out of love, without any thought of reward or recognition. This encapsulates the very essence of Stoic philosophy, doing what is right for its own sake, without the need for external validation or recompense. Their sacrifices were not motivated by any anticipation of acknowledgement but were simply an expression of selfless love and commitment to one another. The wife's act is a perfect demonstration of Stoic selflessness. Her sacrifice is a natural reflection of her values, not a transactional expectation. The Stoics teach us to embrace actions for their own sake, finding fulfillment in the act of doing good rather than waiting for something in return. It's in the quiet strength of sacrifice, in the peace of selflessness, that true contentment is found. By letting go of the desire for recognition, we can embrace the purity of our intentions, just as the wife in this story chose to. Through her example, we learn that love and sacrifice often have their deepest meaning when they are done without the expectation of reward or acknowledgement. 2. Love is acceptance and sacrifice. One of the most profound messages in this story is that love is not about receiving what we want, but about acceptance and sacrifice for the other person. The husband, despite his own financial struggles, willingly sells his cherished watch in order to buy a comb for his wife. This act goes beyond merely demonstrating love, it is a testament to selfless sacrifice. His gesture illustrates the Stoic value of giving without expecting anything in return. Marcus Aurelius, One of the most famous Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors once said, "Do what is right without expecting a reward. For doing what is right is the greatest reward." This quote perfectly mirrors the husband's actions in the story. His sacrifice wasn't made in search of something in return, it was simply an expression of his deep love and care for his wife. The husband gave up something valuable. Not for recognition or reward, but out of a genuine desire to bring happiness to the woman he loved. The core of Stoic love is found in this kind of selflessness, loving without conditions, giving without expecting. In this sense, the husband's action is a reflection of Stoic ideals. He embodies the principle of doing good for its own sake. Not because he seeks a reward but because the act itself is fulfilling. His love for his wife is manifested in his willingness to sacrifice something dear to him, illustrating that true love often involves letting go of our desires for the sake of another's happiness. In Stoicism, love is not a transaction, it's about acceptance, understanding, and sacrifice. The husband's actions teach us that love is not bound by expectations or material gain but is rooted in the desire to help, support, and uplift the person we care for. His sacrifice, though painful, is ultimately a reflection of the deep connection and the unspoken commitment they share, which is the truest form of love. Through his selfless act, we learn that love is about giving without the expectation of receiving, embracing the beauty of sacrifice for someone else's well-being. Freedom comes from letting go of material things. Both characters in the story hold dear possessions, his watch and her long hair, that are important to them. Yet, they are both willing to part with these precious items in pursuit of a greater goal, the happiness and love of the other person. This is a clear embodiment of the freedom celebrated in Stoic philosophy. Freedom is not derived from accumulating material possessions, but from the ability to let go and not allow material things to control our lives. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not what you have, but what you can let go of that matters." In the story, both the wife and the husband exemplify this profound truth by willingly relinquishing their most cherished possessions in order to bring joy to one another. Their acts of sacrifice highlight a remarkable sense of freedom. The freedom that comes not from owning more, but from the power to detach from the material and focus on the intangible, love and human connection. The Stoic perspective teaches us that true freedom lies not in the things we possess, but in our ability to release our attachments to them. By letting go of the things we hold most dear, we free ourselves from the grip of materialism and place our values on what truly matters: relationships, self-growth, and the pursuit of inner peace. In this story, the husband and wife find their true freedom through their acts of selflessness. They are no longer bound by their material possessions, but rather liberated by their love for one another. Their actions reflect the Stoic principle that happiness is not found in the accumulation of wealth or belongings, but in the release of attachment to them. This concept teaches us that our emotional and mental well-being is not dependent on what we own, but on how we approach and detach from the things that once seemed essential. By choosing to let go, the characters not only experience freedom but also deepen their connection to each other, illustrating that the most valuable things in life are often intangible. Through sacrifice and letting go of material attachments, they achieve a higher form of freedom, one that enriches their lives and strengthens their bond. 4. Calmness in the face of adversity. When faced with difficult circumstances, neither the husband or the wife regretted their sacrifices. The husband did not second-guess selling his cherished watch, and the wife felt no remorse for parting with her long hair. They accepted their decisions with calmness and without regret. This reflects the power of maintaining inner peace in the midst of challenges, and not allowing emotions to cloud their actions. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, taught, "We cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond." Both the husband and the wife exemplified this Stoic wisdom in their respective sacrifices. Rather than allowing emotions such as regret or sorrow to weaken them, they embraced their decisions with calm acceptance. This demonstrates the strength that comes from maintaining a sense of tranquility in difficult situations. The Stoic philosophy teaches us that life will inevitably present us with challenges. But it is our response to these challenges that truly defines us. In this story, the couple's responses to their sacrifices are marked by composure and acceptance. They do not dwell on the pain of letting go of what they love, but rather find peace in knowing that their actions were motivated by love and selflessness. In life, we cannot always control what happens to us. External events are often beyond our power, whether it's the loss of material things, the hardships we face, or the emotional toll of sacrifices. However, what we can control is how we respond to these events. By choosing to approach challenges with a calm and clear mind, we free ourselves from the chaos of emotion and allow reason and purpose to guide us. In the case of the husband and wife, their calmness in the face of adversity is not a sign of indifference, but a reflection of their inner strength. They exemplify how Stoicism encourages us to detach ourselves from the turmoil of external events and instead focus on how we can respond with dignity, poise, and self-control. In doing so, they demonstrate that true strength lies not in avoiding hardship, but in facing it with grace and peace of mind. 5. Truth and reality are not always easy to accept. In the end, both the husband and the wife come to the realization that their sacrifices were not in vain. When they see each other's acts of selflessness, they understand that true love is not about material exchange but about sharing spiritual values and sacrifice. Neither of them seeks perfection, instead, they seek the truth in love and sincerity. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "We cannot change the truth, but we can change the way we face it." This profound insight is reflected in the couple's reaction to their mutual sacrifices. When they come to understand the sacrifices they've made for each other, they don't feel regret, instead, they feel a deep sense of gratitude. This shows their understanding of life's truths and their respect for the deeper meanings behind their actions. The truth of the story is that love is not transactional. It is not about what we receive in return for our sacrifices but rather about the essence of giving, without expectations, purely for the sake of the other person's happiness. In recognizing the sacrifices made, both the husband and wife see that their love is not based on tangible rewards but on the intangible qualities that make their bond meaningful: trust, devotion, and care. This revelation speaks to the Stoic idea that we must face the truth of our circumstances, even when it's uncomfortable or difficult. The husband and wife, despite their initial misgivings, come to embrace the reality of their situation with maturity and acceptance. They realize that true love is not about receiving what we desire, but about understanding the deeper values that drive our actions and accepting the truth of those values. In life, we are often confronted with hard truths. Sometimes the things we want most are unattainable, and we must find a way to make peace with that. Stoicism teaches us that rather than resisting or rejecting these truths, we should embrace them and respond with wisdom and grace. By doing so, we achieve a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Just as the husband and wife in this story achieve a deeper understanding of their love for one another. Ultimately, the story reflects the Stoic principle that life is not about seeking to avoid hardship or searching for perfection. It is about accepting the truth of our experiences and responding to them with the virtues of love, sacrifice, and gratitude. The story of the love comb is not just a touching tale of love and sacrifice. but also a beautiful example of the core values promoted by Stoicism: selfless sacrifice, love without expectation, freedom through letting go of material possessions, and the ability to remain calm in the face of challenges. These messages aren't just lessons within the story, they're principles we can apply in our own lives to live more peaceful, meaningful, and free. Through this story, we learn that true love isn't about expecting something in return, it's about giving without conditions. We also understand that freedom doesn't come from owning more things, but from the ability to let go of what we no longer need, lightening our hearts and minds. And finally, when facing life's obstacles, staying calm and accepting the circumstances is key to maintaining clarity and not being swept away by our emotions. If you found the lessons in this story inspiring and want to continue learning more life-changing principles, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's continue exploring these powerful messages and stories together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.